You're thinking about buying another company to bolt onto your existing business, but you're not quite sure of the process. Well, the thing is, a strategic acquisition could double your revenues, your profitability, and your business value when you eventually exit. And it could do it in one afternoon. But of course, getting to that afternoon takes a lot of research, engagement, valuations, funding discussions. But think of the value your business could add if you get this right. So maybe you're thinking that getting the money to actually make an acquisition happen is too big a challenge. Well, if so, you'll like this. My name's Jamie Sylvian. I'm the founder and head of negotiations at Rise Strategies. I'd like to show you how we partner with business owners to set up a comprehensive self-funded acquisition strategy. And it's aimed at maximizing company value so that one day when the big exit comes, it really is big. So our strategy is to build your company with strategic acquisitions. We're going to grow organically, and through acquisitions, we're going to have a fast but controlled growth strategy. So it's a bit of both. It's the organic growth, the stuff you're already doing now, one customer at a time, which is safer but slower. And then we're going to build in an acquisition growth strategy. And all of that together is going to give us the scale and value that we're looking to achieve. So what do we do first? Well, this is our proposition to you. We partner with business owners and we help them build their business through strategic acquisitions. And while you're building your business, we develop the acquisitions program and we provide up to 100% of the acquisition finance and a team to see each deal through from end to end. We now have over 240 strategies to help you acquire businesses with as little cash outlay as possible. It's actually more now, it's something like 253, 254. But here's the thing, we become equity partners in each transaction, ensuring that our goals are perfectly aligned with yours. So we become your ongoing plug and play deal team to find, fund and acquire these businesses. So as I mentioned, our acquisition deal stack has 240 strategies now to take control of other companies, other businesses with as little cash outlay as possible. It can be zero, it's not always, but it can be zero. But we can fund businesses from 95 to 100%. And I'm going to take you through some of that deal stack and how it works now. So here's how it works in general terms. We agree with you with the target, what we're going to go after. And I'll take you through exactly what that looks like in a second. And then we set up an ongoing research program. And then we go to outreach, which is our it's time consuming, and it's very, very tough for a business owner to do it whilst they're running their other business. But we are a dedicated team for that. And we've got 14 channels that we reach, we do our outreach and our research on. And we also have 300 deal partners to reach out to see what businesses they have that might be a fit for your company. Now with you, we have a monthly strategy call. We have live deal opportunity alerts and Zoom. So, something comes across your strategist's desk in the morning, you'll get an alert that says, look, this is worth looking at because it's a fit with what you guys are trying to achieve. And you get to meet our deal team as needed, which is our accounting, legal, negotiation team and due diligence team. And also we have a dedicated account manager to liaise with the deal team and you. And from our perspective, we meet sellers on Zoom videos. We liaise on deals by Zoom and on the phone. Of course, it will be nice when we can eventually do face-to-face again, but right now we're at Zoom. And we become the deal front line, so you can carry on running your business while we focus on becoming your deal team and finding the deals for you. So the deal stack. What's a deal stack? Well, it's a focused approach to building out the value of your business through highly targeted acquisitions. And it's very different, I think, than what you may have seen before. So I just want to take you through it. This is our deal stack. So you can see in the middle bit there, number one, I've numbered it just for ease. The first and the most obvious low-hanging fruit, if you like, is to buy competitors, and that's going to give you market share. But if you look around the outside of the deal stack, look at number two, the orange one up there. Media. What do I mean by media? That's the way you would get the opportunity would reach out to Facebook. So let's say you're in the nutrition space. We would look in social media, so on LinkedIn, on Pinterest, on Instagram, on YouTube, all the usual suspects. And we would look for pages that are run by people who have a passion for the nutrition and well-being space because they have eyeballs. They have people going to their Facebook pages and social media pages and commenting and reading, and they're exactly the same people that we want to be reaching out to and selling the product to, the wellness product. So, how would that work for you? Well, that's a conversation to have. But looking out for media is actually a really, really smart way, because I know from a recent project that reaching out to the nutrition space, some of those pages have 10, 20, 30, 50,000 pairs of eyeballs on those pages. So taking control of those, obviously we're not going to buy the page from Facebook, but what we do is we go to the admin and we buy the admin from them. So we buy the admin rights, and that may mean a joint venture with them. That means buying them outright so they can go off and do something else. That may mean switching them from their page being a hobby to actually being a monetized aspect of what they do. So they would run the admin for you because you'll be able to afford it because of all that new business coming in. And of course, moving over to number 3, the yellow box on the right there. Once all that starts to drop into place and you start getting new customers, you need infrastructure. So teams and systems, we would look for suitable companies to buy, which you could fold in, bolt on to the business you already have, which is your platform business, and create that added infrastructure, which means that we can also go down to buy products and services companies. What's that all about? Well, we're looking for products and services that are fit for the customers that you've got now. So remember, you've got your existing customers, you bought competitors, so you've got that market share. You've now bought media up there in the top left-hand corner. So all of these new customers need to be continuously sold. That's how you're going to grow your business. And the fastest way to do it is to buy complementary products and services. That may mean we buy the whole company, or it may mean that we will just buy out the assets or the products and services from other existing businesses. Once that's in place and you've got that side of things going, we move down to number 5, the pink one in the bottom right-hand corner quadrant. And we're after companies within a supply and distribution chain, and that increases margins. It means that you get a bit more share of the business, because everyone that you write a check to every month, somewhere in your supply and distribution chain could be an acquisition opportunity for you. So moving across to number 6, this is all about making your business stronger for the time that we sell it out to private equity when we've done with all of this growth strategy that we're working on. And it makes your business undisruptable because the IP can be protected, which means it's low risk, which means private equity will put more value on it, or private equity, or trade buyer, or family office buyer. And the last one is number 7, which is we really go after monthly recurring revenue and annual recurring revenue, because that makes it a much more reliable cash flow, more reliable revenue. So we'll be looking for those companies. So these 7 strategies are the ones we would build in to the relationship that we have with your company over the next few years. So you would have somebody in Rise, one of our deal team, to help you to find companies in this space. We would work out the valuations and work out how we can actually structure that deal to bring that business in and fold it into the group that you are building. And this is key. We are looking for the minimal cash outlay for deals. So you go to a bank and you say, I want to buy a company for £1 million, dollars, euros, yen, whatever it is. Then they start working out how to give you that £1 million and what you will pay back. But that can be tricky. It can be tricky and can take forever with banks as well. So we focus on a strategy where we bring in a highly creative approach to closing deals. I'm going to take you through it now. And it's using multiple structures. So let's look at how that might work. Okay, let's assume this is a £1 million acquisition. And we've been out there, we've done the outreach, we've connected with the seller. It's a very nice fit for your company. So as I'm going through this, just imagine what kind of a company you would like to buy and bolt onto the business that you're already running. So I've gone out, because my job is negotiations. I've gone to the seller of that business, and I have persuaded them by showing them how the business can grow, showing them what a pair of safe hands, and as important as anything, showing them the facts that over 80% of small businesses never sell. They just close their doors. So when a seller, they start the day they think of exit and thinking they're going to put a huge amount of money into their pocket Actually, it doesn't really work like that. So for this assumption, or this example, I have negotiated with the seller for him to defer 50%. That's the green part there. He has agreed to defer 50% and to be paid that 50% over a 4-year period. To you, that means that 50% can be paid out of the revenues that business will produce moving forward once you take ownership of it. It also means that you no longer have to find £1 million for the acquisition. You now have to find £500,000. So in order to do that, we've gone through the numbers of the business with my team, and we've worked out a deal with an asset finance company for £300,000 on asset finance. That's another 30% of the sale price taken care of. So now we've only got to find another £200,000, which is 20% of the business, for easy numbers. So I've gone back to the owner of the company. I said, look, you've already entrusted. You've now met the guys who are going to take over the business. You've met their team. You know the business is in safe hands. You know your staff are in safe hands. We would like you to be a part of the journey of growth that we're going to do in the next 3 years. So right now, you own, or we still have to come up with 20% of the deal. So we'd like you to keep that equity and to do an equity earnout. And the reason we'd like you to do it is because right now that 20% is worth £200,000. In a year or 2 years, once we've gone through the growth program that we're doing, that 20% might be worth £400,000 or £500,000. So we would like you to leave that equity in that business, reduce the price by 20%, keep the equity, and then we will give you an option to sell that in X period of time. You've now done a deal where you've taken over control of that business for really very little, except for some out-of-pocket expenses for legals and accounting. You can see how that works. If you think about any business that you would like to take over, with the right approach, with the right strategy, using this scenario, and I've got a couple more for you, we've just worked out how to fund the entire deal. Let's have a look at another strategy. Same company, but in this one, the deferred seller, where the vendor agrees to defer some debt, is only 25%. That's the bright green one. So he hasn't agreed to 50% like he did on the other time. He's agreed to £250,000, which is 25% of the business to be paid over the 4 years. We've then gone, as mentioned before, to the asset finance, and they've worked out 15%, and we've gone back to the seller, and we've done a 10% earnout. We then, in this instance, we still need to find a fair chunk, 50% of the business. So we've gone back to the C-suite, let's say the CMO, the CFO, and the COO of the business, and we have offered them an opportunity, once they've seen our growth strategy and what we're doing with this buy to build. We've offered them a chance to get in right now at a great opportunity, and we basically sold 20% of the business to the C-suite, which ties them into growing your business. It ties them into you. Okay. We've then, on this instance, we still need a 30%. So we've gone to the supply chain, and it may be a new company within the supply chain. It may be somebody who exists in the business, so they know it's a strong business, and we've made an offer to them to become part of the growth story of the company. And they said, yeah, great, all right, we're in for 150 grand. Book us down for that. So we've got another 15% in. And then there's another £150,000 of working capital within the business. Now we may need to buy that working capital off of the owner, pound for pound. But what we do is we add it to the overall price of the business, and we put that into the deferred option. So we're going to be paying that out, but it's left £150,000 in the business, which is the last slice of that cake that we need to make the acquisition. Let's have a look at the third and final one. So we're going to do working capital and sell and lease back on this. So deferred seller, 20%, asset finance, 20%, seller equity, 10%. Now on this deal, let's assume that the offices or the warehouse that the company is running from is owned by them, and it's worth £400,000. Well, once I know that, and I'm working on your behalf to acquire this business, once I know that, I will then go to our list of property investors, and I will put together an offer for the property investors to buy that asset out from us. So they've paid us £400,000. And why would they do that? Because they know they've got us as a tenant, because we've just negotiated a 15-year lease or whatever it turns out to be. So they've given us £400,000. That's 40% of the deal value. Now we're in on the deal. Let's assume now in your existing company, the company that you're thinking of bolting all this to, you've got £50,000, which is 5%. And you decide that you're going to put that into this acquisition. Now, here's what you can do. Once you put that £50,000 in, you can pull it out once the acquisition is yours, because you can just be lending it to the business. So assuming all the other numbers are working well, and as I said, there's now 240, 250 ways to do this, assuming that the numbers work out and everything's safe and sound for you, then you can just pull your company funds back out. And going back to the example we used before, the working capital in the business was also £50,000, and that's just left in there. Yes, we had to buy it off of the seller, but we've also put that on top of the vendor financed aspect, which is going to be paid out over 4 years. So we've made that acquisition work by just putting together various aspects of the deal stack. And at Rise, what we do is we work out what's going to make this acquisition work for the seller, for you, and for us as we're involved in the deal, and to work out how to make these acquisitions actually happen. So we're on a buy, build, and sell, and it gives you the opportunity to move your business along the acquisition value line. So what's the acquisition value line? It's the reason that this strategy in working with Rise makes so much sense to you. So assume then you like our strategy, you like our approach, and we are now out there finding businesses for you. So your business right now is in that blue section there. You're a sophisticated business. You know exactly what you're doing. You've got all of your systems in place. Your second in command is there for when you're on the golf course. All that kind of thing is already up and running. So what we would be doing is taking a step back and looking in the yellow box, which is unsophisticated SMEs. So let's say, for an example, you're in the manufacturing space and you have excellent accounting processes in place. You have a great marketing team. You have a very, very switched on COO and CFO. You have a nice, sophisticated business. But you know that, going back to the yellow, the stuff that we're doing, we're looking for unsophisticated businesses because they can be bought cheaper. The price is reflective of how their systems and processes are in place. So we would be looking for a manufacturing company in this example who are complementary to you, who you would be able to take over on day one, absolutely understand that business. But ideally, we're looking for a seller who has been around in the game for 30 years, 20 years, whatever it is. He's motivated to sell. He wants to move on. He wants to retire. His kids don't want to carry on the business. He's got no one else to push it forward to, but it's going to be a really nice fit for you. But when you ask to see his accounts, they're all in a kind of a paper ledger book. And you ask to see his marketing, and he says, what marketing? All of my clients have been with me for 30 years. They're never going anywhere. So you ask to see his business processes, what he would do if one of his key members of staff left. How would he carry on? And he says, we muddle through. So bottom line is they are an unsophisticated business. And as I said, the price reflects. But imagine when you take control of that business and you move it across to your CFO, to your processes, to your accounting, to your marketing. All of a sudden, that business, the value, the sophistication takes a major leap forward, and that business actually becomes a nice, sophisticated SME business. Now, imagine you're doing that 3, 4, 5 times over the next couple of years. And we're out there, we're finding these deals, we're bringing them to you, we're negotiating to take them over for very, very little money using the 253 stack deals processes that we've used. We are bringing these businesses in and sliding them from yellow across to blue. And the reason you're doing all of this is for revenue. So you're building up the revenues of your business. You're integrating at your end, not something we're involved in. You're integrating the new businesses into your accounting processes, your marketing processes, and so on. So your team and your revenue is growing. The idea is to bring your revenue up to 20 to 30 £1 million, let's say the same in dollars and euros for argument's sake, because the value then, when you have those aggregated revenues, puts you bang smack on the radar of private equity companies who are looking for well-run businesses with good revenues and good processes to buy. And you've taken a company, if you slide back to the yellow box, and you bought it at 2 to 4 times EBITDA, and you brought it across, created the value, created the aggregated revenues, you then sell to private equity, or you run an IPO, but we'll stick with the red box for now. They will buy it because they buy revenue. They're buying well-run businesses. They don't have to be hugely integrated. We can have siloed businesses and so on. But the plan is to move this across from the blue box to the red box and eventually sell to private equity, to family offices, or to a large trade buyer. And so the other option is to integrate all of this and do an IPO. So we would bring in private equity or bring in finance people to help us do the IPOs. And at Rise, we have connections to get all of that stuff done as well. So that's the reason we're getting your business onto the acquisition value line, and we're going to move it from the yellow across to the red and to the green. So our acquisition deal stack, to get those deals done right now, 240 strategies. As I said, it's actually 253 because we work out, we're always adding to new ways of getting these things done. So deal flow, let's say, so the offer today is to pick up the phone and have a conversation with me. As I said, my name is Jamie Sylvia and I'm the founder, but I'm also head of negotiation. So I will be able to look at your business, to have a conversation about you, your company, and where you want to get to in the next few years. And then we would reach an agreement for how that may work with you. And to show you how the process works and why it makes so much more sense to have a deal team in place than try and do it yourself, is because there are a lot of moving parts within the deal flow. So that fellow on the left there with the ginger hair and the red tie is your strategist. He's the guy that you deal with day to day. He's the guy who controls the movement and the deal flow as we start to add these businesses to you. So once the agreement of the targeting, the strategy in place, he then instructs the research and the outreach team to get out there and start finding. We have a number of ways to get out and reach customers or reach potential sellers and start having those conversations. Once he finds something, or once they find something, they send it back to our strategist, who then gets in touch with you, and you have that conversation. You say, yeah, okay, I like that business. Let's go further. Let's have a look at it. He then, on your behalf and in complete confidence, has a conversation with the seller of the business. If that conversation goes well, we request full accounts for the last 3 years. We want management accounts, VAT returns, corporation tax returns, and bank statements. So it gives us all of the information that we need to understand the business from the financials. And of course, we look at their website and their marketing and anything else that's relevant to the business. Of course, every deal is different. We send those numbers to our financial analyst, who looks at the business numbers and works out if it's a good business, and then comes back to us and says, okay, yeah, we like this business. Here's how we think we could do these deals. And so we go through all of our financial stacks, 240 to 250 of them, and then we pass it to the negotiator from the finance team. The negotiator then takes over the conversation and deals with the seller of the business to agree the terms. They agree the terms of the business, and then we get to heads of agreement, and then all of that information is sent to our legal, accounting, and due diligence team to really dive into the business in a much bigger way. Once they've done all of that, and the legal team bring the business across the line, it's now your business to add to your holding company or however it's being structured. And while that's going on, you've already had another conversation with your strategist about the next opportunity. So you can see how the deal flow works. But as I said, there are a lot of moving parts, and you should be focused on building a bigger business as opposed to finding the deals. And that's where Rise Strategies and our deal team comes into play. Okay, so we work our sweet spot is up to 15 million in revenues, which is about 20 million euros, and it's about 25 million dollars in acquisition values. That's our sweet spot. We can go from £500,000, even smaller if it's a quick deal to bolt on if you need an added service. And we can go higher, but our sweet spot, the business we know and we kind of like to stay on the line, is an acquisition up to £15 million. Our onboarding fee, and this is the fee that pays for the cost of getting your team into place. There's also hard costs of buying in data, the platforms that we use for our outreach and our data rooms and so on. And it's also for time spent with you creating strategy. And that will define the approach we'll use with you for the next few years. And that has a one-off fee of £6,997 payable in advance. And it also includes 1 month of your fixed management fees, which I'll take you through now. So we research the market. This is a full stack team. We will research the market, engage the owners, value the business, create the offers. We negotiate the deal, establish the best strategies using the strategies that I've taken you through earlier. We set up the term sheets. We liaise with the funders, the lawyers, the accountants on both sides. And we basically become your deal team and lead the deal from one end to the other so that you get a clean, nice, tight business and you have that deal team around you. So as I said, up to £15 million of acquisition value, and our fee is £2,997 per month. On top of that, we have an equity deal with you. It's really important to us that we are in this journey together and to make sure that we are getting the right deals and helping you to build your business. So if we bought a business with you today, we would retain equity in that business of 20%. And that means that it gives us an incentive to stay involved and an incentive to make the most of that 20% that we own. You own a full 80% of every business that we buy, and we take care of the rest of the building process. So we're in it for the long term with you. You can have options to buy that 20% somewhere down the line, and it's done in the strategy, as you'll know when we jump on a phone call, is a very, very protective strategy of the business that you've built up until now. We don't take any equity in that, but also secondly, to protect you from as we're buying and acquiring these businesses. So this is the offer. Working with us, you'll have the team, the strategy, and the financial firepower to acquire companies and grow through acquisition. And you create a business that private equity, trade, or family offices will pay incredibly high multiples for, because while we're focusing on those acquisitions, you are focusing on creating the value within the business while we're creating the wealth by adding all of the other companies to it. So to recap on the deal, it's £6,997, which is the onboarding fee, and it includes the first month's management fee. From there on, it's £2,997 a month, and that can be paid. This is important. That can be paid from the business that's acquired. So yes, there's some upfront money to get things rolling, but let's say in 2 or 3 months' time, we have a business that you now own, and that business has added 2, 3, 4 million pounds of revenues to your company now. The cost of £2,997 per month can be paid from that acquired company. And we retain an equity share in each deal that we bring to you. So that's our partnership structure that we have in Rise Strategies. So the next step, I should say, is a conversation with me. As I said, my name's Jamie Sylvian. I am the founder and the head of negotiations at Rise, and I'm in charge of the deal strategists, the people that actually find these businesses for you. So give me a call or click below and book a call with either myself or one of our deal team, and let's have a conversation, talk it through, and let's see if this is something that could be of value to your business. So book your call now, and we'll have a conversation shortly.